All right, everyone. I'm here with my very special guest, but no stranger to the According to RP platform, Jessica Sinatis. Jessica, say hello, please.
Hi, people.
Oh man, so Jessica, you and I just literally finished a episode for Frida's World. What, 2 weeks ago?
Yeah, I think
It was
a
about
week
2 weeks
ago.
ago. Yeah, I guess a week
Mm,
ago. Yeah, about a week
Yeah,
ago.
time
Going on,
flies.
yeah, time, yeah. But so Frida's World, for those of you who don't know, is another one of my podcasts that is focused on professional women of color. It's been around for about 4 years now. We took a big break, but we are back. And Jessica and I had a Thanksgiving episode that kind of talked about COVID precautions, what to look for, things like that. And so if you want to check that out, you can check that out at Frida's World, FREEDA apostrophe S World is available on pretty much everywhere you can catch a podcast. But today Jessica is back on according to RP, and we're going to talk about a couple of things that are going on in these crazy ass streets. And then Jessica is going to tell us about this new business venture of hers.
Okay, let's do it.
All right, all right. So I want to save the best part for last. So let's get through the tomfoolery. Let's get through the craziness in these streets. So right now, many of you should already be aware that the Omarion variant is in these streets. It's actually called the Omicron, but I don't know. Black Twitter and them totally.
Totally.
They're like, we are not gonna call it Omicron. We are gonna call it Omarion.
Oh,
And
Marianne.
poor job Omarion. I heard he had a whole Instagram live talking about how upset he is that.
Oh my God. Why is he upset? It brought him some attention.
Listen, people are talking about B2K now. We talking about B2K now. Like B2K is back in action. Just the other day, Raz B posted a picture of himself without a shirt and in his tidy whiteys, and that broke the internet. And so now
Wait, why?
I don't know. And you know what the sad part was with that, Jessica? I'm one of these odd women who I'm not as impressed by abs. You know how there are some women that they see abs and they are like, "Oh my god," they fall to the floor. I I don't know if it's just because I was never really exposed to decent. I don't know
To
what it is.
guys with abs.
I don't
It's because we're
know.
Haitian. It's because we're Haitians. And most of our dads or guys, have one ab,
We have one ab. Yes, they have one ab. They have a stomach.
a plus size ab. So we're not
Right.
used to seeing abs in the house. It's not normal to us.
Yeah, I'm not like, it doesn't move me. Like it doesn't make me like, oh my God. I'm not moved by it. It doesn't turn me on, this ab situation. So when I saw him post this picture, he had his hand over his genital area. I guess I don't know if he's trying to hide the shadow, the shape. I don't know, but he had his hands over it, and then he was posing in literally like briefs, right? And his stomach, the abs were really not that defined though. They looked like they were lazy abs. Did he have abs? Yes.
Lazy abs.
He had the abs, but they were lazy. They weren't as, crisp. So he broke the internet last week, and now Omarion breaks the internet this week with his new COVID variant
Oh Lord.
named
It,
after
it,
him.
it usually goes in order. It's like, okay, so Fit was it Little Fizz had something, then Omarion, and then this Rasby likes to pop up with drama or something toxic. And then maybe we'll hear something about we'll say J Boog, he says something that's out of this world. And just a cycle. But where's Chris Stokes? That's another question.
Girl, I don't know. I mean, after the accusations of sexual assault, I haven't really heard much about him at all. I haven't heard much about him after the accusations of sexual assault.
Yes, and that's years ago, but how do you say B2K without saying Chris Stokes?
I mean, easily now that he has been accused of sexual assault, pe- people feel bad for B2K. They're like, yo, like he was, preying on you guys. Chris Stokes was preying on
Them still,
B2K.
some of them still deny it. So I'm like, I'm not saying it didn't happen, right? But I'm like,
I mean,
so when are you gonna be honest, Omarion?
but think about it, right? I mean, think about it. Like, I totally understand why they wouldn't want to talk about it or admit it, right? I mean,
Mm-hmm.
they're young men. Like, it does something to them. Like,
To you.
I mean, we hear about, like, you know, women getting violated all the time, right? And obviously that's not okay, but I feel like women deal with it. Like, I don't know if it's because society expects, you know, a man, like the man woman interaction, like they don't see it as like mentally, I don't know, life
Abusive or
right,
oh,
as to when it's a man on man violation. And I guess as a young man, now having to admit that not only was I violated, but I was violated by somebody of the same sex, I feel like it might do more to the psyche than the average person would think. That's kind of how, I mean, just through, you know, amateur readings and like just hearing about studies done on this particular topic, I feel like there seems to be a different form of trauma. It's like a double trauma. It's like, yes, I was violated. Now I'm violated by a man, right? Now
man,
it's like,
got
does
it.
that make me gay? Now am I gay? Like, you hear these things, you know, as like you hear this rhetoric when it comes to this. So I don't know. Maybe I'm taking it deeper than it is, but I'm assuming maybe that could have something to do with it.
Oh, I don't want to take away from the sensitivity of the topic. So I think what I do know is that maybe, you know, it's you. Women are can usually take the victimized role more easier than men. So it's almost like, okay, as a female, you know, I was violated. I am the victim, you know, which is okay for us to do. It's more normal for us to, you know, to be
The
seen as victims.
society makes it
Yeah,
that
than for
way.
men.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think for men, it's more so like, you know, especially the black male, right? Someone took away my strength or my manhood. If that is the notion, you know, I'm not speaking as someone who is well educated in all forms of abuse or sexual abuse. I'll leave that to our, you know, other
Professionals.
counselors and mental health professionals, right? I'll leave that there. But in like for myself, who I used to do internship at the VA, right? And there were patients who did suffer from military sexual trauma. And even men. I remember having a male client, and it was just the interaction or how they told their story was very different compared to like the woman who had experienced military sexual trauma. They call it MST. So I can say it's definitely something about your manhood, or even like being vulnerable or being seen as a victim. It's very different when it comes to men and women, right? That's a whole other topic. You know, that's a whole other topic. But Omarion still hasn't said it. Like,
and you know what, and it's quite possible that Omarion was not affected, right? Like maybe Chris Stokes had a type. I don't know.
Okay, and also I know that they talked about how, you know, Marquise and the rest of them, like being that they were around, and that's supposed to be Marion's brother, right? Is that still?
I don't know if he's like blood brother, but I know that they were parading
Wasn't it like half
around.
brother? Wasn't it like half brother?
I don't even know if it. I don't know. I think it might be a play brother.
Wow,
I don't even know if he's actually a real half brother. I think he might be a play brother, but even so, that was like his brother. That was announced to be his brother, right? Whether it's a real brother or play brother. So that could be why Omarion was shielded.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. Maybe because Omarion also was the forefront, the frontier of the group, that we made sure to keep him untouched. You know what I mean?
Right. Either way, this is a sad conversation to have, actually.
Damn, I think we were going there with it, but
I didn't think we were going there either. I mean, we really brought this up to talk about the Omarion variant, the Omarion COVID variant. It's really Omicron, but apparently the people have spoken, and it's now Omarion, and Omarion is not necessarily pleased at the fact that he's being associated with COVID-19. Because I can tell you right now, I haven't heard one black person call this Omicron. It's been Omarion.
Omarion. Okay. Yeah, well, I like the Omarion version of it.
I mean, listen, it is what it is.
I like it better.
Take the L. Nobody wants to say Omicron. Like, I mean, Omicron. Like, I don't know. It's funny
Yo,
too.
listen, I like Omarion because it's like Omarion, you know, it comes back. Like
Oh
Omarion has
my
come back on the
God.
scene, right?
I'm gonna, Jessica, I'm gonna stop you right there. I'm sorry. I cannot allow you to us, subject the people to this line of thinking, to this logic. I will not allow it on this show.
Well, listen, COVID has come back, and so has the
Millennium Tour, the Millennium Tour.
I'm
No,
laughing so hard. Yes, it's
it's
just like
not.
the tour
It's not
has
the
come back.
same. COVID never
No,
left. COVID has just been mutating. It's been here, mutating. And
listen,
I heard that there's another variant in South America called Mu, because they're going through the whole Greek alphabet. So MU, Mu.
what's it? Mew was there before Omarion.
Was
Mew
it?
was already there. I think Mew was already there.
They weren't talking about it until now. They're talking about it now because they're talking about Omarion.
But my thing is, right? Okay, so what is going on in South Africa? Aren't they? Oh, is it a mandated country? Like you're mandated to be vaccinated in South Africa?
I don't know but the Blanquitos are in South Africa.
Shoot, I'm done.
No, it's true. Because you know what? The news wants to come out and talk about Africa is like now the leading or whatever, and they're the cause of this variant. But it's like, no. Let's back up and let's talk about where in Africa. South Africa is like Blanquitos all over the place, right? Talk about the Europeans, the Dutch are in, the Germans are in South Africa, Botswana. You know what I'm saying? And as soon as I heard that this was in South Africa, I knew that it was only a matter of time before it found its way to Europe, because one of the major hubs, like connection hubs, is Amsterdam. Because when I went to South Africa, we had to stop in Amsterdam. And then to go. So I'm like, I already knew it was about to be up in the Netherlands. And then now we hear it was in Belgium. Belgium is a hot spot for it now too.
Wow.
Yeah, and now we got 5 cases of Omarion in New York City, according to the New York Post, which is one of the most accurate publications. Accurate, and the most accurate publications. This side of the Mississippi.
I used to read the New York Post every morning on that train ride.
Listen,
okay,
they're shady as hell, but the accuracy. Their journalistic integrity sometimes is at question. But here,
I know.
I believe that they said that there are 5 cases: 1 in Brooklyn, 2 in Queens. Looks like 1 in Suffolk County, and I don't know. And then the 5th one is in an undisclosed area in New York City. They won't tell us what village it is in New York City, but it's in New York City. So we got 5, and it's crazy because wasn't it like yesterday or the day before we found out there was 1 in San Francisco?
And then all of a sudden, I'm like, so nobody tracked down that plane,
right?
And the people were on the flight. No one tracked it down,
right?
Oh my God! And no, I think Fauci had said how everyone who was in contact with that person, the first positive case, right? They were all deemed negative.
Negative. I'm like BS.
So who gave it to the others? That was this morning I heard that. So who gave it to the others? Like, how did they get it?
They're not giving us all the detail. And I think a lot of people made this comment. They're like, Omarion was here. Omarion was here. He was popping and locking and dropping in the United States, and they now want to make mention of this, but they're like, Omarion didn't just get here. Omarion's been here, because now all of a sudden you got 5 cases in New York. You were just talking about the 1 isolated case in California, and if you found 5 in New York, that means there's at least 100 or 200 in New York.
So, question: do you have to be vaccinated to go to South Africa?
That I am not sure. I know a lot of these countries are very strict with testing, meaning you have to be tested. So I think that you have to have a negative COVID test to maybe go there. And I could be wrong. That might just be Europe. Africa might not have any restrictions, to be honest.
I think they might, because I remember last year they started restrictions into certain parts of Africa. Like, so I'm not really sure. Maybe that's something we should look into. But all I
Yeah.
know is, um, how is it that we had one case yesterday, and it's now about 5 in New York, but now it's spreading, right? So,
Yeah.
what's the plan? Like, who? The question is, number one, what is the mortality rate so far, right? And if we have this new variant spreading, you know, what do we need to worry about, right? So it's too early to tell. First of all, it's too early to tell if it's, a killer one, if it's a soft one, if it's a, I don't know. We don't know about
Yeah.
COVID.
So right
Um,
now I did do a quick look. So it seems like there was no requirement to be vaccinated to go to South Africa. It's a recommendation, but it doesn't seem like
mm,
it was a requirement. Which
okay.
so yeah. I mean, and you know what? And then I remember I was hearing I don't know if she was the Minister of Health of Africa, but I forgot what her role is, but she was very, very eloquent in basically telling the rest of the world, "Let you get Bushnu off Africa, take your mouth off of Africa." Like all this time, Africa, we've been asking for vaccines. We've been asking for this type of assistance. You guys neglected us. All of a sudden now, Africa is the epicenter. Meanwhile, when you had all of these, like Europe was freaking pop locking and dropping with all sorts of COVID, you know what I mean? Like it wasn't, like the intervention that was done there is not the same that was done in other parts of Africa. So it's like don't conveniently now, paint Africa to be the leader in COVID when you had all of
In
these
a new
other
variant, the leader
right
of a new variant,
the leader of a
not
new
just
variant
COVID, of a brand new variant.
yeah. So she went in like if I could find her speech and quote it. Listen, if I'm like I don't know why this woman is not an attorney because she was really like her passionate appeal of don't you dare put your mouth on Mother Africa. Like I was even sold. I was like, wow.
But okay, so was it the same speech that like the late President Jovenel gave
Oh God, rest in
for
peace.
Haiti? It was the same speech. It was we're fine. We have our herbs. This is why we have our low, our low infection rate here in Haiti.
No, it was a different speech. She was actually saying that like we have
Oh,
been
we've been asking.
asking for vaccines and we have not gotten vaccines. We were put at the bottom of the food chain when it came to getting this critical need. So it's like don't come up in here and start like pointing fingers and blaming stuff when we've been asking for this. So I don't know what's going to happen now. I mean, now that is the epicenter, apparently, I'm guessing they're going to have to start shipping vaccines by the boatloads over there.
Yeah, and I think it's how there's money in South Africa now. We all know that, right?
Yeah,
There's a lot of
there's
money.
been money. There's been money because the Blanquitos are there.
Exactly. There's a lot of money flowing through South Africa. So for those people who are infected, those who are rolling out of South Africa, hopefully, it's not anybody who can't afford to get the treatment that they need.
Right. I mean, well,
Not
here's
like
the thing,
not like
right?
as a regular traveler. It's like hopefully it's hopefully the people who are infected are those who have the money to get the treatment they need in case something does go down.
And it's not
Because we all know that there are some groups that are marginalized when it comes to the proper health care. Even if it's something as simple as COVID, a lot of people died last year because of, this type of treatment that we were getting. So
Well, that's the thing
hopefully.
though, because we're talking about South Africa. It's like where's the concentration of COVID, right? Is it at some point if it is spreading, if it's the epicenter and it's spreading the way that the news is making it sound like it is, then the people who are going to be, at the worst end of this are going to be those who are in the poorer areas of South Africa, because we know
Mm-hmm.
that South Africa is like there's the very, very rich and then there's
No,
poor,
yeah.
right? So that I think is what's going to be troubling to see, is that with this spread in South Africa, is it spreading amongst the tourist areas, or is it creeping into the, you know, the more poorer areas of South Africa? And if that's the case, then we have a real problem on our hands, right? Because we know that they're not getting.
Oh, well, let's go back. I'm not sure. I think let's go back. What are the total deaths right now in South Africa? Is this pandemic hitting them really hard right now? Right. I think that's what we have to look at. Like, are we moving forward in our fight against COVID, or are we moving backwards? Right. So they haven't spoken about what's going on in South Africa in totality or in detail. Like, so you know how when India had its peak, right?
Mm-hmm.
They had they're showing all of these bodies, and they're showing the high concentration of people who were in these camps, right, trying to get some type of oxygen, or something going on. Or when it happened here in New York, right, they were showing how we had these big old trucks outside, right, carrying in loads of dead bodies. So now what's going on in South Africa?
Well, that's the thing. I mean, the way that the news would make it sound was like there really wasn't a COVID issue. And when I say issue, meaning like issue, not like COVID wasn't present in Africa, because I have, people in Nigeria who did say like, yeah, COVID is real there too, but not to the extent that it was real here in America, right? Like they've heard of COVID cases, they knew people who were catching COVID. It wasn't, I mean, I had friends who went to Nigeria and came back and tested positive for COVID going to Nigeria. So it clearly, was around. But in terms of,
Wow.
imagine that, right? But in terms of like it being a crisis, the way that it was in I guess in our part, I don't think that if it was, it wasn't televised. It wasn't shared with the world that there is a COVID crisis in Africa. So to say that like where South Africa in relation, like, was it really bad and now it's getting better? I mean, listening to the news, it would sound like there was never a COVID issue in South Africa until now.
Exactly, because a lot of the countries that we didn't hear about, or who shut off their media access, I guess, to America, because we didn't know what was going on in these other countries. It was later when you would research stuff, you would see all the you will see all of the list of countries and all the total deaths or those infected, right? It was never really, oh my gosh, look at the Russians dying from, not to say anything specific about the Russians. I just feel like Russians came out
Russia.
first.
No, but true though. I haven't heard about crazy COVID numbers coming out of Russia. Maybe they do have a crisis, but we don't know about it like that. Like, it's not advertised.
And that's what I'm saying. Like, the propaganda is real. Like, I'm like, okay, COVID, we know COVID's around. It's not going anywhere. Now let's talk about these variants, right? Are we seeing an increase in deaths? Not just COVID cases, okay? People are getting COVID, but if we're recovering, let's keep it moving, right? But if it has this, high death toll like last year, then let's talk about it. But I'm tired of going on the news and everything's new variant. I'm like, oh, here we go. Every holiday is a new variant. Every holiday.
Right.
It's a new variant.
Yeah. So we're currently dealing with Omicron variant, and I mean, the thing is that people are panicked, right? People are panicked, and you can't tell people that they shouldn't be, because we don't know what, we don't know if Omicron's going to be 10 times worse than Delta. But what it's doing is that it's starting to really have an effect. I think these variants are having an effect on the economy, because as we're going to segue to this, next top news, critical news, there is a chicken tender shortage. There is a chicken tender crisis, and I'm not even saying this to be comical, but I got an alert from today.com saying that the supply chain crisis is now threatening chicken tenders. And when I saw this, I'm like, Jésus Balvini. You know how when Haitians are like Jésus Balvini, Jesus is at the door? Because now you're saying that the chicken tenders a threat on chicken tenders. So I'm gonna read you the
tenders are from South Africa, right?
They're not from South Africa, from what I understand. I don't know because we're still wondering where do all these chicken wings and chicken tenders come from?
From Tyson. Where does Tyson come from?
Because there is way too much
I can't be.
chicken. There's way too much chicken available. We still have not gotten to the bottom of where do all these chickens come from?
And how about the chicken from the Chinese food chicken store? Is that real chicken? I'm done.
Listen, I mean, we can go down this rabbit hole. We can go down this rabbit hole. Where do the Chinese people get
And the Chinese
the
food
chicken
store
wings?
get their chicken wings from?
Where? Because there is an abundance of chicken. There is never a shortage. I've never went to a Chinese restaurant and they said, you gotta come back, no more
wings?
chicken. I've never heard this. Never.
I'm so done. I kid you not.
Super Bowl
This is
Sunday.
There's a Chinese food spot across from my job, not far from you. Oh my God, it's on like Nostrand and what is that?
Girl, you can't be giving coordinates.
I'm not giving coordinates, but don't go there. Don't go there for the chicken wings.
People would come waiting for me on my block.
I didn't give your block. I was going to go further down. I was going to give your block. I was going to give a couple blocks down. You good. I wasn't going to give it exact. That's why I stopped for a second. But they have the smallest chicken wings, okay? So if maybe there's been a shortage at that Chinese food.
Maybe.
I'm like, I say, is this a bird? Like, whose wings are these? So small.
Listen,
I love my chicken wings. So
the article goes, it's enough to strike terror into the hearts of all parents whose children can't get enough of the dinner time favorite. See, and this is how you know that this article is really geared toward American families, right? Because dinner time favorite, chicken tenders is not a dinner time anything in a Caribbean
I've never
household.
I've never had chicken tenders at the dinner table.
No.
As a kid.
It's a snack. It's a snack, or it's something that as an adult you purchase outside of your home. But it's not a dinner time favorite.
Never. Listen, have you, Rita, you ever came home and then said, here's the chicken tenders? Never. I've never.
Never.
We were always getting chicken legs. Chicken legs is it, okay?
Listen.
Thigh, leg, not the tenders.
So the article goes on to say, chicken tenders are the latest item affected by the supply chain issue during the pandemic, which experts say may mean higher prices for them at the grocery store and restaurants. Now, I had heard about this supply chain crisis, right? For a while now. They've been talking about it in the news, but I haven't felt the consequences of it, right? Like I haven't felt, maybe because whatever I'm ordering has not yet been affected. Although, for those people who are into lace wigs, there is a shortage. No, there is a shortage of lace wigs, which is why the headband wig is so popular. I had to do research. The headband wig is so popular, not because it's a new item. It's because there's a lace shortage. So the manufacturers of wigs were like, we're not about to lose our money. Let's get creative and see how we can get these people to buy wigs in the midst of the supply chain crisis.
I'm so done. So, okay, so you part wigs.
That's why you're seeing you part wigs, because there's a shortage of lace. There's a shortage of lace.
Half wigs.
Headband wigs. I'm telling you. Don't you notice? I mean, I'm wearing one right now. There is a... Listen, because I was thinking to myself, where did this phenomenon of the head... Every time I scroll on Instagram, it's headband wig. Every company has a headband wig. And I was really curious, so I went on YouTube. And YouTube informed me that there is a lace shortage.
A lace?
A lace. The lace front. There's a lace.
I hear you. I just can't believe it.
Yes.
So you're trying to say that we about to walk out here looking half done?
Well, that's why they're introducing the U-part wigs and the headband wigs. You don't got to worry about the lace.
Nah, my edges cannot hold no headband wig, Rita. There's no way. Not my edges. Not my 4C hair.
Listen, I'm just saying. No, listen. I mean, I would show you right now, but I'd have to reach for it. There is I have a 4C headband wig too.
What?
Yes, girl. I'm
Oh,
telling
Lord.
you, these people are not leaving money on the table. They are not leaving money on the table. They're like, we are gonna create.
They have the new thing now. Did you see the new one with the where they just do a couple of bundles around the hat? And you just wear the hat?
I heard about the hat. Right? I heard about it. I don't think that I would ever be comfortable wearing that, but I have seen it. I have seen it.
I think that's good. Then that has to be because of the lace shortage.
I'm telling you, there's a lace shortage, BT. So there's a lace shortage. There's a chicken shortage, which means chicken tenders are at stake now. There's a crisis. But then remember, we were hearing about there's a fish situation. Snapper is like now 3 times the price because of some sort. I guess there's a shortage there too.
You see this? I believe you because I ordered food at a Haitian restaurant and she did charge me $30 for a snapper.
Yeah, and I heard
$30 at the Haitian spot for snapper, and I was confused until as I'm walking out the store, looking at the receipt. I said, "Didn't I tell her I wanted a $20 fish?" Remember back in the day, it was like you get $20 fish or a $22 fish.
Yeah,
meal, no, $30.
What one of our restaurants, which I will not mention on the radio because I am not trying to cause hysteria, but apparently, like their business is being threatened because they're taking a loss because you can't charge me $40 for a snapper. I'm sorry, I don't care how much the price of snapper has gone up. You are not charging a Haitian $40 for fried snapper. It's not happening. So they've actually been operating at a loss serving they haven't raised the price of their snapper because they know that it would be unconscionable to do so, but they're taking a loss now. So the restaurant industry, I really feel for them during this whole Omarion and other variant situation because they're going to be the ones affected with the supply chain shortages.
Okay, so now that we're seeing all of this and putting all of it together, I remember I went to a Chinese food store in Brooklyn. This is another one. Yes, I Chinese food. I went to another one in Brooklyn, okay? And I was like, okay, chicken wings and fried rice. Usually that's means 4 wings and fried rice. Okay. Mm-hmm. They said $8. I said, what? Yeah, I just looked at him. I said, what? I said, I grew up in Flatbush, Brooklyn. Chicken wings and fried rice used to be $2. I'm not old, Rita.
No, but I mean, but you can't expect. I mean, it's been a while since it's been $2. Okay,
but last year it was $4.75.
I would expect it $5.75. I would go as high as $5.75.
Now, Rita, it costs more money now. The next time you pass by a Chinese food store, even if you're not gonna buy anything, I want you to look at the new menus. Chicken. If you're buying 4 chicken wings, you're probably paying about $6.75 for 4 chicken wings, or more. I'm telling you, I was so shocked. I was like, "This has got to be a point of concern."
No, $8 is $8 is unconscionable.
I promise you, it's $8 in the heart of Brooklyn, near Flatbush Junction. Let's just say that $8. I was afraid to ask for soy sauce.
Yeah, they're probably gonna charge you 50 cents for the packet. 50 cents for the packet. Oh my gosh.
Yo, it's real out here. It's real out here. I was like, forget it. If there's a shortage, there's a shortage some other things, all right? Things that we don't like, not the things that we do like.
Well, here's the thing, and this is where, I'm I don't know, I'm urging our listeners to really, pay attention and to get on it. So a couple of months ago, one of my friends who lives out of state put in a group chat, yo, guys, I think y'all need to start stocking up on stuff because I went to Costco and I'm noticing that the toilet paper aisle is looking a little scarce. So she's like, because she's a hoarder, she hoards stuff in her house, but she's like, I'm about to go and stock up even more because I'm noticing that certain items are starting to look scarce in the Costco. So what I think that we all need to do is start, getting on, buying some extra rolls of toilet paper, because we know from last, height of the pandemic, that toilet paper was a hot commodity. People were selling a roll for like $3 in the streets. So, so we need to get on the toilet paper. We need to get on the ramen noodles. We need to get on some of these canned goods, these saltine crackers or whatever. But we need to stock up, because I feel like this supply chain. I mean, chicken is now is the recent victim of the supply chain. Like, I feel like that's
Yeah.
I feel like that's telling. I feel like we need to start, being a little more prudent, a little more vigilant, and start putting them Amazon orders. Let me tell you, Amazon saved my life during the height of the pandemic, because I was ordering, toilet paper and paper towels, like, how they have the subscription, so every 2 months or every 3 months.
Yeah.
So I got the last shipment, like, as the pandemic started. I got a shipment of, like, I don't know, 40 rolls or whatever of toilet paper, right? Because I bought the big one. If it wasn't for that, I would have been asked out, because that's when the toilet paper shortage started.
I would have been asked out. Let me tell you something. I've never ordered toilet tissue on Amazon. I just feel like I'm getting gypped for my money. Like,
well, girl,
is it just me?
I don't think I mean, maybe, I don't know, but it was delivered to my house. I didn't have to walk out with, like, a 20-pound pack of toilet paper.
Yeah, I don't know. It's something about seeing the toilet paper, being able to look at the roll, make sure it don't look too small, too big. It's something about going by my own toilet tissue that just
you can
gets me going. Like, I don't know.
Sister, you can do that while you're scrolling on the Amazon app. Like,
like, I need to be there. I gotta see it. Like, I gotta see, like, you know how the bouncy paper, right? There's different ones. The bouncy rolls?
Right.
Okay, there's like the big, huge ones, and then there are the regular side, large ones, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I can't always tell the size based on what they say the plies are. I need to go and see, is that the actual big one that I'm trying to get? That big one that comes like 2 in a pack.
Listen, all I know is that for me, I've never had any issues with Amazon, to the point where I'm always surprised, because when I get the Amazon shipment, the rolls are so big I can't even actually put it on the ring.
What?
Yeah, I have to, like, put it on the side, use a couple of inches, and then put it on the thing. So I don't know. I think the pack says double size, so I think that's the marker. That's double size.
So how much is a subscription for the toilet tissue?
I'm gonna have to look it up.
We're not advertising for Amazon or anything, right?
I'm gonna have to look.
Are they gonna give you a check? Are they gonna give you a check?
They're not gonna give me a check. But what I can do is send you the link. I will send you the exact link that I have.
Thank you.
So you can be prepared for this next shutdown that looks like it's about to happen.
So toilet tissue. Let's list all the things that we need to get, right? So that's toilet tissue, paper towel, right?
Paper towel,
Lysol. Don't get stuck again, guys. Without no Lysol.
Right. Ramen noodles. Chicken flavor. Because you know what?
I'm soy sauce flavor.
I like the chicken flavor, and let me tell you, you can make it gourmet, right? You can, if you want regular ramen noodles, that's fine. If you want, regular, plain, basic, but if you want to make a gourmet meal,
okay, add a little gourmetness.
Let me tell you, you add a slice of American cheese to the broth. You add a little bit of hot sauce. You add a little bit of parsley flake or fresh parsley as a garnish. Girl, gourmet. Because now you have a creamy broth. It's a creamy broth.
Okay. I usually like to add some butter. Okay, some butter. I will add an egg. Have you ever tried that?
Oh, girl, you getting too fancy for me.
Girl.
What is this, Vietnamese style?
I have my neighbor who's from the Netherlands. So she taught us how to make our stuff. You know what I'm saying?
Interesting.
Yes, add an egg to there. That's your protein. But add a little bit of seasoning, the parsley flakes, yes.
Mm-hmm.
All right. And okay, back in the day, you add a little bit, you cut up some bread, make it a Haitian bread soup.
Girl, I'm done. I'm done with you. I'm done with you. Next. You lost me with soupe, son. I cannot deal with soup. So for those of you who don't know, soup is basically like bread soup. I have an issue with texture. I cannot drink or eat soggy bread. It's like peasant food, okay? It's peasant food.
The same way. My love, I'm the same way. But I got accustomed to it.
Nah. I don't care. I don't care. I don't care. I can't do it. It's not of God. I can't do
Not
it.
of God. Oh,
Not
poor
of God. Soggy bread soup? Nah, I can't do it. I'm sorry. I'm
God,
sorry.
I have to cut it. You have to cut it really small.
Nah.
And like it's like
I don't
okay.
think so. I don't think so.
Okay, you're not that Haitian. Okay, got it.
Girl, no, I've evolved. I've evolved. Okay. We can't I've evolved. I had to be on that struggle bus as a child, but once I got my voice, once I found my voice, I said no.
Mm-hmm. Oh
Doing
my
this.
gosh.
But since we're talking about, I guess another shutdown potentially, right? I want to then segue to your business because I
Okay.
feel like the part of your business really stemmed out from your pandemic experience, right?
Yeah.
So I want you to tell the people what your business is and then how you got into it.
Well, my business is actually called Seekers Essentials, and one of my essential products that we're coming out with is sea moss, but not just sea moss gel or sea moss gummies, but infusing our sea moss with some of the best herbs and fruits that will definitely come and provide additional nutritional value. All
Mm-hmm.
right. So how did this all get started? Last year when I had COVID, one of the main things that one of the main issues I had was respiratory issues.
Mm-hmm.
Um, it is windy outside, child. Sorry. It was respiratory issues. And with those respiratory issues came a lot of mucus. I was like stuffed with mucus. Could you imagine? Like I was coughing up all day long, couldn't go to sleep, felt like something was just on my chest all day long. And as a person who, suffers with asthma, it definitely like messed up my whole entire experience. Some people had regular COVID. I don't know what COVID I had, child. But one of the things that I was definitely privy to was CMOS and how CMOS allows or helps a lot with relieving mucus. All right, so that's how I got into the CMOS game. I was making CMOS. It definitely helped me out a lot. And just learning more about the nutritional values that it had. CMOS does have 92 of the 102 minerals that our bodies does need to, just keep itself strong and healthy. It helps to release mucus, hormonal balance. It's good for your hair, your skin. Let's just go CMOS. And I think it definitely became something that I didn't like the taste, so I definitely had to spice it up a bit, but wanted to do it, in the best organic way possible. And so, yes, we're selling CMOS, CMOS gummies, CMOS gel infused with like burdock root, bladderwrack, or, I'm really exploring with every client about new things to go, So I think it's definitely something. So soon, later in the future, probably will be coming out with like CMOS hair products.
Mm-hmm.
I've always been in the hair game, Rita.
Yes.
The natural hair game. So I will be coming out with hair products hopefully in the future, and just expanding to other beauty, health, and wellness things.
Okay. I mean, I'm totally on board with this, and I'm excited about it because, I mean, I have had CMOS off and on over the course of the last couple of years. I have an uncle of mine and this is where when you don't know the value of things.
Mm-hmm.
I had an uncle of mine who still actually makes like that's his contribution to family get-togethers. Like, so the first time there was a Thanksgiving event, they were like, he actually left before I got there, but he was like, yeah, your uncle left you a tub of CMOS gel. And that was the first time I was like, what the hell is this? And I'm like, what is this thing? So I had it in my refrigerator, and I actually never used it because I was like, this thing, I don't know what it is.
Oh.
It smells weird. Nobody gave me instructions. Like, I didn't know what this was. So I was like, I'm not dealing with this. And then a couple times, like, I went to like maybe one of these health restaurants, and I had like a smoothie that had like sea moss in it. So I was like, oh, this is not bad. Like, it was like they put the sea moss gel in the smoothie. So it did have like a taste to it, but it wasn't bad. And I'm like, oh, I guess if I do it like this, I can then take sea moss, because I'm
Mm-hmm.
very, very big on scent, and I'm very big on texture. If it's not pleasing to my nostrils, I can't do it. And if it tastes, so I was like, I'm not dealing with the sea moss business. Like, what the hell is this? But when I found out that I could, put it in a smoothie, I'm like, oh, I can totally do this. And so I would probably say maybe a good year after that experience, one of my friends bought me like a big jar of, like, I guess it's infused sea moss, because
Mm-hmm.
it tasted like pear baby food, like pear and peach baby
Okay.
food, and it was delicious. So for those of you who don't know, I love applesauces. I will snatch that baby food. Do not put me next to baby food, because I will. Don't let me feed your baby food, because I will be eating that pear and peach baby food.
Oh my God.
I just love the taste of baby food. I mean, I just love it. The fruit ones, not the savory ones. So as I'm
Not the.
not the chicken dinner,
I was about to say the Thanksgiving dinner. You want that puree?
Thanksgiving dinner. So I was like, this is delicious. So then I started drinking it every day. I started ordering jars. And so, interestingly enough, right before I had COVID, like, I was like on CMOS for like several weeks in this nasty, immune booster. And so
Mm-hmm.
I think that it was by the grace of God and that CMOS that I was not, dead, because I had COVID really bad. And I'm like, and my immune system was actually up from the CMOS and the immune boosters.
Yeah.
So the fact
Mm-hmm.
that I still was that sick, I'm like, oh, imagine if I did not have the CMOS in the same thing for my brother. My brother was has a surgery he was preparing for, and out of paranoia, he went on a health kick. So he was eating fresh elderberry, like fresh,
That's what is. Yes.
fresh, like the applesauce, right? Because it was freshly
Mm-hmm.
mashed, and he was drinking sea moss every day for like 2 weeks.
Wow.
So when he went for his pre-op, they tested him, and they're like, "You have COVID." He was like, "What? I got COVID." So, and my brother's a sickly person, so I also believe that it was because he was on elderberry and sea moss for 2 weeks prior, that
Wow.
that's why COVID didn't really touch him. So I
Mm-hmm.
say all that to say this: I firmly believe in the powers of the sea moss, and I'm happy that people are infusing it now, because if y'all weren't infusing it, I would have to say, I'm sorry, I can't take it. Because I can't deal with it with the plain
It's a
gel.
tough taste. It's tough, and I guess now the infusions are what I find to be the most like fun part of it, because
Hmm.
I'm like, what can I do now? What can I bring to life? Right? What does the person need? Right? And being someone who I have a lot of like health and nutrition information in my head. And being that, we were raised in like a religious sector that definitely was big on knowing, health needs and knowing what the body needed. We learned a
Hmm.
lot of things.
Right.
And people say, how do you know about this episode? I'm like, I don't know. I don't know how I know. But I guess, in learning about, I was vegan at one point. I was vegetarian for years. I've done it all, but I do know what the body needs. I don't always practice it,
Right.
but we do know a lot, right? And so pulling back on all that information and honing it all to what I'm trying to do now, it was like, what can I bring to the people that I know that I really use? I didn't want to be a false, advertiser,
Right.
right? And because I use the CMOS and in this particular way, let me bring it to the people, and I always like to share what I know. I've always been
Hmm.
like that. And I always like to tell people of the best. Never, I would never steer you wrong. I would do my best to tell you the best of what I know. And so therefore, that's what I wanted to do with, bringing out Secrets Essentials. It was all the things that Sika finds essential and bringing
Mm-hmm.
it to you, right? In the best of quality, and only the best for you, for my clients, and for whoever, comes across any of our products. But we're so new. It's nerve-wracking, but we're new, and we are launching December 19th.
Okay, okay.
So everything will be open and launched. Definitely, I will be at a pop-up shop, I think, in Brooklyn. My sister, my older sister,
Julia.
has her, Jules Boutique, Boutiques by Jules. Don't kill me, Julia.
Boutique by Jules. Boutique by Jules, Jessica. That is your sister's business. Boutique by Jules. Oh gosh.
Yes, follow her on Instagram. So
Oh
she will
my.
be there. I think my little sister also has thick Veganista. Okay, the one and only Rebecca Sanatis will be there doing, she has immunity shots that she does very good.
I
Oh,
didn't
like
even know about this.
you don't know Rebecca?
Rebecca did not tell me that she got a business
She's been
selling.
she's all over Instagram.
I
You
don't know.
probably saw it and didn't know it was her.
I don't know this handle. Is the handle is Thick Veganista?
Yeah, the Thick Veganista or the Veganista. She's definitely online. You'll find her on
Girl,
her
I
page too.
I do not know this.
Yeah, she's doing immunity shots. And soon she'll be coming out with the whole 3-day detoxing juices for people. So she has that going on. It's a family affair, really. We have, Natalia is going to be there as well. If you know who, if you know Rose, who does the body butters. The only body butters I
Right.
use in my body is from Natalia's, with all of her body washes and everything else. She is, I think her line is one of the most like underrated lines that I've ever come across when it comes to natural products.
I'm glad you brought it back up because you know what? I remember when she first came out. But again,
Mhm.
COVID has literally taken 2 years from our life. So therefore,
Correct.
like I remember when she came out, I remember she had like a launch thing, but then because we all went into hibernation, I never really heard about it again.
Oh, she's out there, but I'm trying to tell everybody about Natalia's because I think when it comes to like soaps or in butters, and she's working on her body washes, and she has candles. She has
Cause
she has, I think, body salt scrubs. Rose has everything, and I think, and it's pure, it's organic, it's natural. Like
I
she's not putting
remember.
anything toxic. Like it's so amazing. And I love to support not just the business but the person.
Right.
And when it comes to definitely something that is good and it's doing what it says it's gonna do, that's definitely what Tyler is giving you right now. And I think it's a time where we're supporting Black businesses, right? We're supporting small businesses as well, right? We're crossing the dollar around and circulating it around young people and Black people. But I wouldn't say we don't give up money elsewhere as well. We do, but it's also bringing up this economic group that we have that's been underserved for so long and under supported for so long. But I think
Right.
it's also going to be at Modi Mel's salon.
Okay.
And so, and I know Julia definitely, has a big support there with that salon. She goes there, but it's just all around should be a good vibe. And anyone who wants to stop by, do register on Eventbrite, do the spacing, and stop by, hit me up on Instagram or, somewhere.
Well, yeah, well, definitely. Well, I mean, while we're on that, what is your Instagram? Because I'm sure people are like, okay, I'm interested December 19th, but they want to know specifically like the time, the actual address, the location. So if you can give us your Instagram handle, they can follow you and get those details. I'm sure they'd
Yeah.
really appreciate that.
Well, we just started really. My Instagram for Sika's Essentials is very baby fresh, okay? Because we're gonna be launching December 19th. But definitely hit us up at sikasessentials.com. No,
How do you
my
spell
fault.
Sika? How do you spell Sika,
Let me
girl?
get it on Instagram. Sika's. My website is not out yet, so my bad. Sika's Essentials, SICASESS Essentials, TIAOS. Seamless Essentials. You gotta just tag this down here.
I'm just have to post it on the page because girl, you lost me. You lost me, and if you lost me, I know you lost them.
Sicas Essentials. So Sicas, SICAS Essentials.
Okay.
There you
Yes.
go.
Yes, definitely follow, guys. Follow. I cannot wait to get my CMOS. I told
It's
Jessica.
on its way.
Yes, and I was, and the fact that she makes them infused, I'm looking for my ginger turmeric
You will be getting it tomorrow.
because I have like arthritic issues and inflammation issues. So I'm like, if I can get two in one, I can get my sea moss essentials and then ginger turmeric essentials. I'm like, yes, I'm looking forward to that. And yeah, no, I'm really excited for you because I think that, people might be thinking, how many sea moss businesses do we need out there? We need as many as possible because you know what? Like, it's a thing. Sea moss is a thing. And I think that we can never have too many options, right? We can never have too many options. It's just like shoes, it's just like anything. Yeah, there's going to be a million stores, but everybody has their own twist.
Yes.
You do things, you know?
Yes. And that I'm saying everyone's selling the same jumpsuit, right? Or the same tracksuit, right? It's the same suit with the same cotton. The same
Right.
suit. But listen, a logo makes a difference, right? And
Right.
who you're supporting makes a difference. So definitely it's my CMOS is well crafted from St. Lucia. All right. My distributor goes straight to the islands and comes back with the CMOS. All right. So that's where we're at. It's, it is what it is. Test it yourself to find out if it is what it's supposed to be.
Right. But not
All
everybody
right.
is making infused too, right? Like I don't know anybody at this point that's making like ginger turmeric infused, like, so I think that you'll hear like strawberry, you'll hear like mango or passion fruit, but I feel like at least I haven't. Maybe other people have, but I haven't met anyone yet that has made a ginger turmeric infused sea moss, and that's what I'm looking for, the originality of it.
Yeah, I think the best thing is like we're all doing similar things, but it's also the recipe is still different, right? How much of this, how much of that, what in this, what in that, because it's like what are you using to sweeten your
Right.
gel? If you are gonna sweeten your gel, what are you using, right? So I use dates. I'm
Mm.
giving too much away. All right, so and dates in itself has its own nutritional values, right?
Right, right.
You can definitely use agave too, organic agave. Some say no. Some of the veganistas will say don't use agave. But we're gonna use. You can use agave too if you want. There's just so many options. There's so many things out there, and it's really just who you feel safe purchasing from, right?
Right, right.
I
It's
would say, right?
true.
Like get the
And
chicken.
because
You don't get the chicken from every Chinese food store, right?
I mean clearly because you're getting chicken wing that looks like they might be rat wings or pigeon wings. That's what it, I mean you saw the way I mean you just gave us two examples of
Don't go to that Chinese food store. Them chicken wings are so small, Rita. I'm not lying.
listen. It's true though. And then the thing is too, you want to support your own, right? Like I know that, I've known Jessica for God knows how many decades.
Decades
And
on decades.
right. And I'm like, I mean, if she's making sea moss, then I'm gonna go buy my sea moss from Jessica, and then so if there's
And
something wrong
affordable.
too.
And affordable. I'm not trying to break anybody's pockets. I feel like I wanted to bring good stuff to the people. You know what I mean?
Right, right.
And I'm the type of person who will take the loss before she lets someone else take the
Mhm.
loss. That's just how I am. So definitely I have to cover costs.
Of
But
course, of
I definitely
course.
don't want to break. It's not just to just make money off of people.
No,
It's really to bring some good things out there.
it's the health ministry. You sharing the health
Oh,
ministry.
praise the Lord!
Hallelujah.
Praise the Lord!
Hallelujah. All right. Well, Jessica, I mean, as always, you're always a pleasure to talk to talk with. I feel like there's always so much energy when it comes to you, and I I feel like you're just so like the way you approach things. I feel like I think it's always a good time. But I'm really excited about this venture of yours, and I pray that it takes you as far as you can go, or whatever the saying.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Definitely, definitely. So I know that, many of you all are wondering what's going on with this co-host thing. So, we are, I don't want to say auditioning because I think it sounds so weird, but we have a couple of inquiries, and so we're putting them to the test. So I know we had Albin, that was one of our co-host tests. We have Jessica, and then we have another young woman who I believe will be next week. So we're hoping that, in the next 2 weeks, we will be able to like put a pin in this and actually get to the answer. Everybody's like, who's gonna be the co-host? So hopefully we'll be able to. And it's funny because my god sister was on the show with me last week. We were introducing our new show, and people were like, is she gonna be the co-host? She was so good. And I'm like, guys, calmate, okay? We're gonna get there. But either way, like I said, Jessica's been on this show before, and she's gonna be on the show again. Whether it's not every month,
Exactly.
she's gonna be here again because we love Jessica on this show. We love Jessica. We love Sika. Sika is essentials.
That's what I'm talking about, Rita. Brings it.
Listen,
Thank you.
listen. And when the business launches, and when I receive my CMOS, I will definitely do a review, and we'll probably bring you on our IG live, and we could talk up, you could actually show the items, and we could actually talk about
I like
Sika's
that.
essentials.
Awesome.
Because
I like that. Thank you.
people want to see sometimes. They want to be like, let me see the consistency.
That's fine.
you know?
And listen, it's so custom. I do different consistencies based on what people want. So it's not just a manufactured product. It's their handmade. Let's have a conversation, and definitely will get you to what you want.
All right. Well, everyone, thank you for tuning in to another episode of According to RP on WJMS Radio, powered by Black Ivy Media. Jessica, again, always a pleasure having you
Thank
on this
you.
show. And with that, everyone, I'll talk to you guys next week.
Bye.